Have you ever stopped to think that the world you were taught about might just be the tip of the iceberg? It may seem like an exaggeration, but the truth is that there is a universe of hidden curiosities that most people will never discover. While many people repeat the same old stories, those who seek true knowledge see beyond, and grow in ways that few can keep up with. And no, you don't have to wait years to reap the rewards. Sometimes, a single new piece of information can change your life in a matter of days. Today, I want to take you on a different journey. We're going to break myths, reveal facts so absurd they seem like lies, and, in the process, show you how to use them to become smarter, more prepared, and freer. It may seem strange now, but in the end you'll realize, the biggest mistake is to believe that you already know enough. Only the restless, the truly curious, have the power to change the world, and their own destiny. So, if you're one of those people who doesn't settle for the obvious, get ready. What's coming will challenge everything you thought you understood about the planet you live on. Are you ready for this change? Let's go! Have you ever imagined paying more than 300 reais for a simple cup of coffee? Well, in Peru, there is a curiosity that intrigues even the biggest coffee lovers: Kawati coffee. The craziest part is the production process. It goes through the digestive system of animals similar to raccoons, which select the best beans naturally. Digestion removes the bitterness and brings a unique flavor that, according to those who have tried it, resembles dark chocolate with hints of caramel. It's not just coffee, it's an experience for a select few. Now, for those who think this is an exaggeration, it's good to know, experiences like this are not just about the flavor, but about the history and exclusivity. A good parallel is the Romani Conti wine, which costs tens of thousands of dollars a bottle. Part of the value comes from its rarity. If you want to explore sophisticated flavors without sacrificing your kidney, try national specialty coffees, such as Bourbon Amarillo from Mantiqueira or Jacu Bird Coffee from Espirito Santo, which also has a very peculiar method. And here's a fun fact. The act of seeking out unique flavors is a practice that improves not only your taste buds, but also your perception of life. When you train your senses to identify nuances in something as simple as coffee, you naturally develop greater attention to detail in other areas. Have you ever thought that perhaps your next big discovery for your career or personal life could come while savoring a simple sip? In that sense, let me tell you a fun fact about record-breaking roads and cities. Have you ever thought about how gigantic the world is and how full of curiosities that go unnoticed? Well, you should know that there is a road that practically cuts through an entire country. Highway 1, in Canada. It is over 7,800 kilometers long, crossing forests, mountains, rivers, and even frozen deserts. Just to give you an idea, driving from one end to the other would take almost a week without stopping. It is like crossing the whole of Europe and still having road left over. A true invitation to adventure. And if we are talking about extremes, La Paz, in Bolivia, is another gem that defies limits. The city is so high, over 3,600 meters above sea level, that many tourists feel short of breath in the first few days. Breathing there is almost like resistance training. A good tip, if you dream of visiting places like this, is to prepare in advance. Practicing breathing exercises, such as the Wim Hof method, can do wonders for your adaptation. These geographical curiosities teach us that the world was made to be explored, and that our limits are much more elastic than we imagine. Traveling along an endless road or living in a place where the sky seems closer are experiences that broaden our view of life. And speaking of things that defy logic, have you heard about the most unbelievable political events of recent times? Now, if you think you've seen political chaos before, you need to know this interesting historical fact about Argentina. In 2001, the country plunged into a crisis so deep that, in just 2 weeks, it had 5 different presidents. It was as if each new day brought a new head of state trying to put out the economic fire. The population, of course, did not stand still. Protests took over the streets and the instability seemed to have no end. A truly special chapter in the history books. And the most interesting thing, situations like this show how political decisions can have direct and rapid effects on people's lives. Imagine waking up one day with frozen bank accounts, the next with tax increases, and, the next, with a new constitution under discussion. If you want to better understand these impacts on your day-to-day life, one tip is to follow reliable sources of political analysis, such as BBC Mundo or the Argentine newspaper Clarín, which are still good reading today. These political curiosities are not just isolated facts. They are living reminders of how stability is a precious value. Being aware of social and economic movements allows us to anticipate risks and act more strategically. And since we are talking about creative solutions in difficult times, you will be surprised by the innovative way Brazil has found to combine justice and rehabilitation. Just look at this interesting fact. In Brazil, some cities have found a brilliant way to turn punishment into contribution. Prisoners can reduce their sentences by riding bicycles that generate electricity to light up public squares. Every hour spent cycling means fewer days in prison. It's one of those ideas that shows how creativity can really change the world, using physical strength to give something good back to society. Now think, how many similar solutions could be applied in our daily lives? Rehabilitation programs that combine health, environment, and education not only transform lives, but also reduce public costs. One example that already exists is the Bibliotherapy Project, in which prisoners read books and write reviews to also reduce days of their sentence. If you want to delve deeper into this universe, books like The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg are great starting points. These interesting facts about restorative justice show that, often, the best path to social transformation is to combine encouragement, purpose, and responsibility. And since we're talking about paradigm shifts, tell me, have you ever stopped to think about how culture also goes through unexpected twists and turns, as happened in a very curious case involving cartoons and censorship? Have you ever heard of this interesting fact? In Venezuela, there was an unusual episode. The Simpsons was banned from broadcast television and replaced by none other than Baywatch, the famous lifeguard series. The reason? Concern about the inappropriate content of Homer and his gang. Ironic, right? Because Baywatch was full of highly suggestive scenes. This shows how, sometimes, the censorship standard can be somewhat contradictory. This type of decision reveals something powerful. What we consume in the media shapes our perceptions without us realizing it. The choice between the dark humor of The Simpsons and the radiant drama of Baywatch changes the way popular culture develops. If you want to analyze this in a practical way, I recommend watching both productions and reflecting. Which one would really influence the behavior of an impressionable young person more? The answer may be more surprising than it seems. These curiosities about culture and censorship show that our tastes do not arise out of nowhere. They are carefully shaped by the choices of others. Knowing this gives us more power to consume content critically. And speaking of surprising choices, wait until you discover the curious stories surrounding the world of fast food. Some of them will make your mouth water, or even laugh. If you think fast food is the same all over the world, this fun fact will make you think again. In Afghanistan, there is a chain called KFC, but wait a minute. It has nothing to do with the famous Kentucky Fried Chicken. There, KFC stands for Kabul Fried Chicken. They took advantage of the acronym that is already known worldwide, but created a completely local version. And believe me, the menu also has its surprises, adapted to regional tastes. This type of adaptation demonstrates the power of something called glocalization, the act of transforming something global into something local. Big brands do this all the time. In Japan, McDonald's sells shrimp burgers. In India, Burger King has a vegetarian chickpea sandwich. Want to see for yourself? Next time you travel, visit a local fast food restaurant and compare the menus. It's a delicious cultural experience full of hidden curiosities. These differences teach us that, to be successful in any area, be it in cooking, business, or life, you need to respect the context. Understanding what people value and desire is a skill that few people master. And speaking of adapting to extreme environments, come with me and let's discover a place where nature dictates the rules, with very serious consequences. Few people realize this, but a shocking fact marks rural life in India. Every year, around 58,000 people die from snake bites. It's as if a small town were silently disappearing every year. And do you know what's even more frightening? Many of these deaths could be prevented with quick access to antivenom, but the medical infrastructure in isolated areas is extremely precarious. This is a huge challenge that combines public health, education, and access. This reality offers a powerful lesson. Knowledge saves lives. In regions where bites are common, for example, knowing how to identify venomous snakes can be the difference between life and death. A practical tip. On any rural trip, whether in India or even in the interior of Brazil, it's smart to take a small first aid kit and always have the contact details of the nearest hospital on hand. Small preventive actions can change entire destinies. This brutal curiosity reveals that, in some places, danger comes not from war or crime, but from nature itself. And this information, even if simple, can be a true invisible armor. And since we are talking about surviving in extreme and adaptable environments, let's now delve even deeper into surprising curiosities that can change the way you see the world. Now tell me, how many of these curiosities did you already know? And, more importantly, what are you going to do with this new perspective you just acquired? The world is much bigger, more intriguing and full of possibilities than it seems at first glance. But knowing this and not acting on it is like finding a treasure map and leaving it in a drawer. So, the question that remains is, are you going to be another one who goes unnoticed, or are you going to use these discoveries to change your own path? Tell us in the comments which fact surprised you the most. And if you like content that challenges the obvious, subscribe to the channel and activate the bell. Because the truth is simple. Those who master the art of constant curiosity also master their own future. And here, with each video, you will expand your mind in a way that school never taught you. Until the next dive into the unknown.